Why the spider hides in dark corners. Long ago, before the world was quiet and men had forgotten how to listen to stories, there lived a spider named Anansi. His 8 legs were small and clever, his eyes bright as polished beads, and his tongue was sharper than the sting of any wasp. Anansi loved to talk about himself more than anything else in the world. He would boast that no creature in the sky or the earth could match his wisdom. He bragged that the gods themselves had learned from his cleverness. Whenever he visited the marketplace, the other animals would groan. They knew what was coming. Did you know, Anansi would say, puffing out his tiny chest, that I once trapped Death himself in a god. And before anyone could answer, he would laugh. Oh, but that is a story too grand for your little minds. The birds rolled their eyes. The tortoise would pretend to sleep. Even the ants scurried faster, not wanting to hear another word. But Anansi did not care. To him, silence was only jealousy in disguise. One day, word spread that Nyame, the sky god, was hosting a great feast in his palace of clouds. Every creature was invited, from the smallest termite to the proud lion. The tables, it was said, would be heavy with roasted fruits, golden yams, and rivers of honey. And at the end of the feast, Nyame would grant a single wish to the creature who proved himself the wisest. Anansi's 8 eyes glittered with greed. Wisest, he said. Then there is no need for a contest. The prize is already mine. He polished his tiny shell, cleaned his webbed shoes, and strutted through the forest like a king on parade. Along the way, he passed the tortoise trudging slowly toward the sky path. Old shellback, Anansi called. You never reached the feast in time. Why don't you let me win the prize for both of us? The tortoise smiled wearily. Pride walks faster than wisdom, Anansi. Be careful you don't trip. But Anansi only laughed and hurried on, already imagining himself beside the sky god, receiving his wish. When he reached the edge of the world, he spun a long silken thread and climbed into the sky, humming about his greatness. Soon he reached Nyame's palace, where every creature was already gathered, bright feathered birds, sleek leopards, and even the ants, marching in perfect lines. The sky god rose, his robe glittering like starlight. My children, he said, today we celebrate the gift of wisdom. Tell me, what is true wisdom to you? One by one, the animals spoke. The lion said wisdom was strength without cruelty. The dove said wisdom was peace without fear. Even the ant spoke of cooperation and patience. When it was Anansi's turn, he leapt onto the table and cleared his throat. Wisdom, he said loudly. Wisdom is knowing that no one here is wiser than me. The whole fell silent. Then the elephant snorted. The parrot squawked with laughter. Even the sky god's lips twitched. But Anansi went on, unaware of his own foolishness. I am the keeper of every secret. I once tricked Death, I stole stories from the gods, and... Enough, Nyame said, his voice soft but heavy. You have indeed gathered many tales, Anansi. But have you learned their lessons? Anansi blinked, confused. Lessons. I do not need lessons, I am wisdom itself. Nyame's eyes darkened like thunderclouds. Then let us see how your wisdom serves you now. With a single clap of his hands, the golden feast vanished. The tables turned to web, the plates to dust. The laughter of the animals echoed as Anansi's silk thread snapped beneath him. He fell from the heavens like a dry leaf, tumbling through clouds and wind until he landed hard on the forest floor. His legs ached. His pride, worse. When he tried to return to the village, the other animals only smirked. "Tell us, Anansi," the monkey called, "what did your wisdom teach you today?" Anansi's face burned hotter than the sun. He turned away without a word and scurried into the shadows. From that day forward, the once proud spider never walked boldly in the open again. He built his webs in the darkest corners, behind doors and beneath forgotten beams, where no one could see him or laugh at his fall. And when someone asked why the spider hides, the old one smiled and whispered, "Because pride, once broken, prefers the dark." Even now, when you see a spider weaving silently in the corner of your room, remember the lesson Anansi learned too late. Pride makes noise, but wisdom listens. And those who climb too high on their own words must one day fall into silence. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.